Alright guys, so we are on to the next episode of Dragon Ball Super. Now we're on to episode 98, and this episode is called Show Them Krillin's True Power. Now, there's a couple things I want to talk about real quick before we get into it. Number one, the title. Obviously, it's not referring to, Krillin's actual strength, but more like, his ability to strategize and, be quick on his feet, more or less. Two, I really wanted to get this out here. I've seen a lot of people, really misunderstand a lot of things that happen in Dragon Ball Super. I feel as though a lot of people have a lot of things pass right over their head because they're just watching, the low-quality stream on YouTube every week. They don't rewatch the episode in HD or anything like that. And because of that, a lot of things end up kind of misinterpreted. One of these being that Goku is solely to blame for, all of the universes being destroyed, when it was very explicitly stated that all Goku did was give the other universes a chance to survive. That's what Zeno-sama decided to do with the Tournament of Power, is allow one of the universes that were going to be erased a chance to survive. And that is very explicitly stated in this episode, which is really cool. Hopefully now people can, kind of accept that. The other thing you might wonder is, hey, Truth, how did you feel about Krillin today? And I'll say, I didn't fucking like it! And we'll get into the review. We'll kick it off like that, and then we'll get to it. Alright, so I do want to say this episode really felt very fast to me. I feel like Dragon Ball Super, the Universal Survival Arc, it started out good, and it just kind of kept building up. It never felt, tiresome at any point. Really, only two of the, pushing 20 episodes now have even felt kind of overplayed. And, this episode just all of a sudden was over. I was like, holy shit. This was enjoyable and engaging the whole way through. So the Tournament of Power, we are definitely onto something with this. Now, the episode opens up with all of the fighters kind of coming to terms with, Universe 9 being erased. And not just the fighters, but all of the gods, the Kaioshins, the God of Destruction, all of them. We see the Universe 9 Angel kind of, be not surprised that Universe 9 was the first eliminated, and he does that laugh, the one that everyone was like, oh, the Angels, they're all evil cocksuckers, we know it for sure. Now, another interesting thing that does happen is Goku and Vegeta have a quick discussion where Vegeta's like, okay, so they for real actually did erase the universe, huh? And then Goku mentions, yeah, this is the second time we've seen this, and they show us Zeno-sama erasing the future Trunks' universe in the future when they got rid of Zamasu. Now, I do just kind of want to point this out because I saw this again where the one Zeno-sama raises his right arm constantly, and then I think it's the future Zeno-sama always goes to raise his left, and then he switches it up and goes to his right. Now, I've seen a bunch of people say that they think Zamasu somehow, infested inside of Zeno-sama and is possessing him. Now, I will say, I don't know. I don't find that out of the realm of possibility, honestly, because the ending to the Future Trunks arc was just such shite, such bullshit. The ending of the Future Trunks arc was awful. It left so much unexplained. All of a sudden, Zamasu is just gone. Zeno-sama erases the universe. It was dumb. I was thinking before that really it was just a setup to the Tournament of Power, so that, the Universal Survival Arc itself, so that we could see that Zeno-sama does have the ability to erase these universes, but them showing this flashback, you do actually see Zamasu, one with the universe being erased, and it does kind of make me wonder, is there a possibility that something happened to that Zeno-sama? I mean, the fact that they keep doing this thing where one of them switches arms, you could easily say it's a gag, but it could be some crazier shit than that. See, that's the thing. Dragon Ball Super keeps us on our toes because it pulls things out of its ass, out of nowhere so much that, I have no idea now what is, foreshadowing and what is just, a gag. What's BS. Because Krillin, it seemed like they were maybe foreshadowing, okay, Krillin is going to be doing so. Like, Krillin was getting sucked off by Dragon Ball Super. Like, he beat Gohan head up 1-on-1. So I'm thinking, oh shit, my boy Krillin is going to come out in the tournament and he's going to show out. And things didn't really work out that way. So this whole just point I was making is that don't be surprised if there is something up with Zeno-sama. I mean, Dragon Ball Super, we have no idea what they're going to do at this point. They are pulling out some wacky shit. Now, it goes to the Kaioshin of Universe 1, and right here is where he very explicitly states that thanks to Son Goku, they all have a chance to actually survive, and that once defeated, the universes will be erased to balance the levels of all of the universes. That is the true purpose of the Tournament of Power. So here we go, very explicitly stated for people to understand that, Goku is not some great villain here. Don't be thinking that like, oh, Goku, good job, fucker. You just got billions of lives erased. It's like, no, it's not on Goku. And we do get a couple shots of a couple people kind of looking up at Zeno-sama and being like, oh, okay, wow, this Zeno-sama does not fucking play. We even get an interesting scene with Frieza where he mentions that their voice doesn't match the horrendous acts they do. And then it kind of zooms in on him and he's like, oh, it's quite vexing, but one day I will reign over you. And I'm like, okay, you know what? At this point, I'm completely on board with it. Fuck it. Let's just bring Frieza back as a main villain of another arc. Who gives a shit? We've already done it 5 million times. Frieza is there on Namek, gets beaten, comes back for the Trunks arc, gets beaten, gets revived for the Resurrection F arc, gets beaten. Now he's back again. Fuck it. Let's just make him a villain again. I don't give a shit anymore. As long as they make it cool, I don't give a damn. So far, Frieza's been cool, but I'm seeing so much possible foreshadowing for the future, but again, it's Dragon Ball Super. I've got no idea how to interpret a lot of this stuff, man. It's so wild. So a lot of the fighters, it's basically a big stalemate after Universe 9 was erased. Everyone is sort of not ready to, immediately jump into fight. Some of the Kaioshins mentioned that fighters are going to be a lot more cautious now that they see that this shit is, for real. And we see 17 kind of like goads 18 into start fighting again. And he mentions to her that it's like, oh, I could tell that you've gotten kinder. That's kind of a good thing. And then he says, we should be utilizing our advantage as androids of infinite energy now. So, of course, androids, they have, that eternal energy. They never run out of energy. All the shit that Trunks explained back in the Trunks arc, the stuff that Screw Attack completely misinterpreted. You got what I'm saying? And it did lead to a funny moment because 17 goes, we never tire. That's quite an advantage, isn't it? And immediately, I'm sorry, but I just thought of Krillin like, oh boy, Krillin has got quite the challenge in bed, huh? So if Krillin can handle 18, and you could tell by the way 18 acts that Krillin has got moves, okay? Krillin is able to put it down. It is very obvious by the way 18 is like lovey-dovey with him and shit. So, I mean, we got to give respect to him right there, that he is handling, one of the finest girls in Dragon Ball and one of the strongest, and she never tires, yet Krillin is able to satisfy her. Think about that real quick. So the next thing that happens is, oh, Toei, you fucking assholes. Toei, every single day I have another reason to say fuck Toei. The reason today I have to say fuck Toei is because Goku and Vegeta are standing there, and Hit and Botamo start coming towards them. And, Goku and Vegeta tell each other, hey, don't waste your energy, fucker. And Goku bounces, and then Vegeta goes Super Saiyan and charges at Hit. And I stood up. I was like, oh, yes, boy. This is what I want to see. Vegeta, Hit, and the rematch going right now. And this fucking bastard Botamo jumps in front of Vegeta, takes Vegeta's hit, and then Hit just disappears and teleports away. I'm like, no, bro, come on, Toei. They had to do that. They had to make it look for one fraction of a second like we might get Hit versus Vegeta again, which would be really hype, but nope. Vegeta versus Botamo and Automagetta. what we have here is a scene where, attacks don't work on Botamo. He's able to deflect them to a different dimension or whatever his power is. Now, Vegeta, of course, always the knucklehead, it tries, just punching relentlessly. Looks like Vegeta's still stupid, but then he reveals that, he was paying attention during the Universe 6 vs. 7 tournament. They've said many times Vegeta is a fighting genius. So Vegeta picks Botamo up to try and throw him out of the ring. And Botamo's like, that won't work on me anymore. And Vegeta goes, I figured. And he ties Botamo's arms together like a pretzel. And he goes to throw Botamo off of the ring. But then Automagetta shows up and helps him. And then Botamo and Automagetta now have like a sort of combo attack. This combo attack is where Botamo jumps up on Automagetta's shoulders and covers his ear. It's because remember, Automagetta's weakness, the Metal Man's weakness, is their, fragile psyche. So, like, Vegeta is, going to try and insult Automagetta to beat him like before. But they have Botamo sit on Magetta's shoulders and block his ears so he can't hear the insults. And then at that point, both Magetta and Botamo basically are impervious to damage because obviously Magetta is like an invincible, Optimus Prime robot warrior. And then Botamo deflects damage to a different dimension. And Botamo calls it Bota Magetta. And it's funny, I'm just seeing so much shit that really is like gonna show up in Dragon Ball games. Like, to me, the Tournament of Power is the biggest, like, toy and video game commercial of all time. As, like, all of these, like, in my head, I'm thinking of Dokkan, and I'm seeing, like, all of these cards being processed and coming out soon. And I'm like, okay, yep, we got Bota Magetta. Okay, we got the Krillin and Android 18 combo card. Okay, we got Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta doing the final Kamehameha together. Yep, got that. Mark it all down. We're taking notes. In the meantime, it kind of ends with a stalemate. Super Saiyan Vegeta kind of, looking at Bota Magetta, as I guess we're going with now. But it doesn't have a conclusion, and the fighting doesn't really go on very long. It skips over to the group. We have Ten Shinhan, Muten Roshi, Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo. And they're being attacked by a warrior from Universe 10, the Bird Warrior. And Krillin actually uses another new technique, which he calls the, Kienzin Triple Blade, or the Destructo Disc Triple Blade. I guess it doesn't really matter, whichever one you want to pick. And he shoots that at the bird guy, and it kind of clips him. And then Roshi uses that opportunity to knock the bird out of the ring using Kamehameha. Then at this point, the rest of the episode, like, I could actually almost quickly kind of wrap this episode up from here, is 18 and Krillin fighting against two warriors in particular. The first one they battle is Shosa, whose specialty is playing dead. And 18 kind of like pounds on his ass, beats him the fuck up, knocks him down, and she's like, oh, okay, looks like I went too far, he's dead. But he plays dead, gets up, and shoots her with like a barrage of blasts, and it looks like it's gonna knock her out of the ring, to be disqualified from the Tournament of Power. But Krillin hops off, catches her, and then uses a blast to propel himself back onto the ring. And it's great because 18 has like a stunned look on her face. And all I could think right here is, oh boy, Krillin, I would like to see the end result. What's going to happen later on when they return home? I feel like Krillin, just earned himself some fun time here. I'd love to see the power scaling boys power scale the end result of this scene, if you catch my drift. So Krillin and 18 beat him with a combo attack that they said that they have designed before, where Krillin creates like this big ball of kind of like pinkish energy, and 18 and Krillin, they just knock it back and forth between them, like kind of like racquetball or wall ball or whatever you want to call it. Like they're just knocking it back and forth, and I guess it's almost like every time they, hit it and knock it back towards the other, it's almost as though they're giving it, like, extra energy, extra power. So, like, Shosa is dodging it, and he's like, oh, it's getting stronger and faster every time. And eventually they're able to hit him with it. And he gets knocked out of the ring, defeated. So Krillin and 18 took down another fighter, this time from Universe 4. So in this episode, to this point, Krillin has already been involved in 2 defeats of other members of other universes. the next thing we get is another warrior from Universe 4 goes to fight 18 and Krillin after they disqualify the last fighter. And this guy is actually blind, kind of similar to, like, he's got, like, the same thing going on that Yomi does from Yu Yu Hakusho. Now, it is interesting because before Krillin and 18 figure that out, Krillin actually goes to use the Solar Flare or Teoken times 100 on him. And it's funny, he hands 18 sunglasses for her to put on, and she puts them on and realizes what Krillin is about to do. And it's funny, as he hands them to her, we get a flash of Roshi's face on screen, like, those are mine, but when did he, like, I was like, oh, that was pretty good right there, bro. And there it is. So, like, I literally saw a post on Twitter of a comparison side by side of the glasses 18 had in this episode and glasses Roshi had on in a previous episode, and someone said, look, see, they're not the same glasses. And it's like, this is why you got to be careful about doing stuff, because they were the same glasses, it's just they were drawn slightly different between episodes. So sometimes you do want to be careful about stuff like that, but I do realize I'm the same guy who was like, obviously Khalif was Super Saiyan 2, but she did actually turn out to be Super Saiyan 2, and we will get to more about that in the next episode preview once we get there. So because this fighter is blind, he's able to resist the Solar Flare times 100, and it's revealed that, he is blind, and he uses a sense of smell to kind of get around. Now, what's really interesting about this is immediately I was thinking, okay, well, Krillin beat this fighter Bacterian before at the very beginning of Dragon Ball, and he basically beat Bacterian by farting in his face. I mean, there's, him not having a nose was one reason, but also the fact that he farted in Bacterian's face. So Krillin is like, okay, I'm ready to fight you. I got a plan, a secret plan. And I'm like, oh, okay. Immediately, what I thought Krillin was going to do, since this fighter has this, upgraded sense of smell, I thought Krillin was going to fart in the dude's face to beat him again as a callback to Dragon Ball so long ago, because, Dragon Ball Super has been doing a lot of that, which I love, callbacks to original Dragon Ball, but unfortunately, that's not exactly what happens. They go back and forth for a little bit, and then Krillin actually takes his shoe off and tosses it on the guy and hits the guy in the nose, and he's completely distracted, like, everything, it smells so bad. And it's like, okay, so Krillin has really stinky feet. Then Krillin immediately blasts the fucker with a Kamehameha, which knocks him out of the ring. Now, it was really cool. Obviously, Krillin got his moment to shine. We get another cute, like, Android 18 X Krillin moment after this, where 18 is like, why are your shoes so smelly? Oh, well, I guess I'll wash them when we get home. And it's like, oh, 18, the housewife, you gotta love it. Krillin doing a double peace sign, his eyes closed. Yeah, Krillin in top form. Universe 7, we're on top, baby. We're about to take it all. And then Frost just walks up behind Krillin and knocks him out of the ring, and Krillin's disqualified. I stood up. I was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? Toei? Who did this? Toriyama, was this you? It better not have been Toriyama, man. Toriyama's my boy. I certainly hope we spent episodes slurping, sucking Krillin off, only for him to get beaten with his back turned, celebrating his victory, double peace sign, yeah, and then he just gets bitched. Are you fucking kidding me? That's it? So, what this means is anytime they build something up, there's a possibility it will flatline and lead to nothing, which I guess could be a good thing, because, you look at Naruto, Naruto's the worst of all time, where when a character is about to die, they literally will almost come out and say, boy, I certainly hope you do not die in the next episode fighting this guy, because this is your last mission, you're about to retire, your girl is pregnant, your son's graduating from school tomorrow, like, whatever you want to say. Naruto does that, and I guess it's good that Dragon Ball Super is not doing that, but fuck me. I mean, come on. We can't build so much stuff up only for it to then just poof. One smack of a ball sack, and there's nothing left. And that's how the episode ends, with Krillin being defeated. Beerus gives Krillin a scary look, like, you got carried away. Look what happened. And Krillin's like, oh, sorry. And it is funny because Shin, all right, Shin, first off, my boy, You don't have the right to be looking down to anybody, motherfucker, with the way you've been fucking up. 28 mortal planets, huh, Shin? Okay, 28 mortal planets. He looks down at Krillin and says, you did your best, Krillin, saying, I'm not at all bothered. But, like, he's looking at Krillin very sharply, and Krillin even says, your eyes are really scary. But that's where the episode ends. I mean, a really good episode. I enjoyed this a lot. The fighting was cool. It held my attention the entirety of the episode. You know, one thing that happened that I didn't actually mention was, Piccolo took his weighted clothes off finally. Shit is getting to it. I just, Krillin going out like that. Come on. I mean, I really did not like, that is so, before this arc had started, like, we knew it. Okay, Tournament of Power, each universe is going to have 10 fighters. Who was the first one to get knocked off from Universe 7? Who would you say? Krillin? Because I'm sure most people would fucking say Krillin. And that's what they hit us with. Krillin. My boy. Come on. No. Alright, but the narrator does mention one thing as the episode is cutting off that really did recreate my boner. Like, my boner was completely annihilated after Krillin got knocked out. But then the narrator mentions that there's 43 fucking minutes left. And immediately my erection got massive again. I said, yes, okay. We're not, that far into the tournament. Still 43 minutes left. So far, it's not each episode is a minute, but it's pretty close, and that's what I like. Solid episode. Next week's episode, though, oh boy, Dragon Ball Super to get better and better is something I really like, and I think that'll happen again next week. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo!